Renelle, welcome. It's great to see you again.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Super, thank you so much. I know you've had great results with the program, Thinking into Results, and I would love to unpack this a little bit and share some of the good takeaways that you've come away with. So let us understand a little bit before thinking into results. Did you have some struggles or some challenges, some things you were sort of working with that you were finding hard and didn't have solutions for?
So, before I started thinking to results, I feel like I didn't know that I had any challenges or things that I was like struggling with. When I first like started taking it, I took the program because my mom was doing it, and I think at this point it was the pandemic, so I was home and she had asked if I wanted to do it with her, and I said yes because
Mm.
I was big into personal development, or like I still am, but I was getting into personal development, so it interested me in that regard, and then also the reason why she was taking it was because she wanted to grow her business, and I was also working on growing my business at the time, and so I was like, oh, like might as well just do it and see what happens. And I'm glad I did. Like literally to this day, it's been so amazing. The impact it's had on my life is it's still kind of like going, and it's shown up and manifested in so many different ways. So
Oh, that's awesome. So I think like you just said something really key there is open-mindedness and like curiosity. So you have this opportunity, to study with your mom and you said yes. You got curious about it and thought, okay, well, probably this could be a benefit, so might as well. I love
yeah,
that. I think that's a key in so far as, yeah, personal growth is being curious and exploring new ways of living and thinking and doing. That's awesome.
yeah, I agree. Thank you.
So, how has this impacted you then? So you're a graduate and you're, business lady. So how did that learning this material early on in your life, how did that influence sort of the path that you have chosen now when you're choosing career?
So I think the biggest thing is it helped my mindset, and I feel like that's so cliche to say, but one of like the really big kind of thought processes that's different in my head now is that I've kind of eliminated this like I can't mentality. Like anytime I tell myself that I can't do something, there's like this second voice that pops up right away that's like, actually, no, Renelle, like you can do it. You're just choosing not to, as opposed to just actually believing like, oh, I can't do it. And the other thing that it's kind of eliminated for me is this that's just the way it is concept. Like, I don't believe in that whatsoever anymore. And I feel like it's been very like opening in terms of like the different paths and opportunities I can take, especially being someone who's in their 20s, where at this point there's like this almost societal structure of how you're supposed to go through life. Like, you go to university, you come out of university, you get a job, typically a 9 to 5 job, you start a family, you have kids, you work until retirement, then you retire. And for me, like, I know deep down that the 9 to 5 lifestyle is just personally not for me. And so being able to have taken this course and now understanding that like that doesn't have to be the way it is, even if there's like real adults, I call them, saying that, well, that's just what happens when you become an adult and da 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 da. And I'm like, I actually don't think that that's true. If I don't want it to be like that, it doesn't have to be like that. And it's really opened my mind up to like the other different paths that there are that I could take instead.
Yeah, amazing. I think like learning this from an early stage, like it's so much, more useful. You have the whole range of wisdom to guide you through your whole life. Renelle,
Yes.
something that I think you're kind of referring to is living from the inside out and like
Mhm.
really thinking for yourself, what do I really want? Not
Yeah.
what does society say is like a good thing to do, or even respected adults in our lives, but really thinking, what does Renelle want? Like, what do I want for my life? And sort of working from the inside out. And I think that's part of the beautiful thing about thinking into results is it really starts with you yourself, right?
And I think that too, it's not even just like understanding what it is that you want, but then also believing that you can actually have it. Because like I feel like I started to notice this a lot when I'd have conversations with other people, and I would just like listen to some of the things that they're saying, and I'm just like, you sound miserable like doing that, or like this doesn't seem to excite you. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. And you tell somebody that and they don't understand that there's another way.
Like the
But this
limiting
course really helped.
beliefs.
Yeah,
Limiting,
and
yeah.
I think that that's another thing that the course did for me is like I said before, like when you asked what was like the challenge that made me want to take the course. Like I didn't know that I had these like subconscious limiting beliefs that were holding me back. And taking I mean, I'm still working through some of them, but like I'm at least self-aware of them now, so I know when something's coming up, I'm like, okay, Renelle, that's actually not true. Like that's just that belief talking. Let's like work through it, because that doesn't need to hold you back if you don't want it to.
Love that. Yeah, it's just that's so key is the self-awareness like you said, and like to be able, because these things are always going to come up for us, right? Like it's, the limiting beliefs, the
Yeah.
imposed values and beliefs are always going to surface, but it's being able to recognize it quickly. And
Mhm.
I think if you know clearly what you want, you can more quickly say no,
Yes. Yeah.
and then yes, and then know when to say your yeses and know when to say your nos, and you can move on in a easier and like quicker pace.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So you have started your own little business, and so are you using some of the wisdom from thinking into results as you grow your own business?
Yes, and actually, it's funny that you asked that because I'm thinking about it now. Because at first I was gonna be like, I don't know, like that I'm like actually using any of the principles, but I'm like, no, I'm not mechanically using any of the principles, but I'm like energetically using the principles, and that's something that literally makes no sense until you've gone through the course, like because it's just one of those things that even you might uncover like on your own journey that there's nothing wrong with like the things you're doing. It's like how you're doing them.
Yeah,
But one
Bob
of the
always
things.
said. Yeah, Bob always said it's doing things in a certain way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so something I've noticed that I think is just my energy is one of the things that you learn about in thinking into results is that there is no like lack of anything. Like there's everything is just like constantly there. It's just up to you to kind of attract it to you. And I've been noticing that with the clients that I'm getting into my business. Like I'm not really even doing anything. Like every once in a while, I post or whatever, but like people just come into my inbox and I didn't like ask them to be there. So I think it's just that energy that's like when
Right.
you're just like putting that out there, people are attracted to it and they come to you. So that's really cool.
Right. That's awesome, Renelle. Well, congratulations for that.
Thank
Being magnetic.
you.
Um, but yeah, that's exactly like one of the fundamentals of the program is the law of vibration. And
Yeah.
so, like, Bob loved explaining this, Bob Proctor loved explaining the fact that, yeah, you have to keep your vibration high to your wish fulfilled. So I have a full client list, for my business. And you live in that state, your wish fulfilled, and then you are more apt to attract those clients to you. So you are, yeah, you're living that law of attraction, law of vibration.
And I'm so fascinated by the law of attraction too, because again, it's not one of those things you can see. It's just like you feel it. And it's funny because sometimes I can feel when my vibrations are good, like things are just like happening, like good things. It's just like one after the other. And again, I'm not doing anything. I'm just like living in this like state. But then there'll be times where I just know that my vibrations are so low. And then the things that are coming to my life are like a showing of that. So I'm like, okay, Renelle, like it's time to maybe shift the energy because this is not what you want.
Yeah, the manifestation, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love how like Bob would keep pulling us back to what do you really want, and then that helps guide you insofar as like what you want to manifest. Like so many people go around without having goals, personal goals and like business goals. We just kind of like are buzzing around. And so this course causes you to kind of keep reflecting on that. So in your business, it keeps, you keep that in the heart of it all, and then you
Yeah,
can manifest from there.
exactly.
That's wonderful. If someone was interested in thinking into results, why should they take the program?
It would change your life. And I know like that sounds so cliche to say, but it's really hard to explain and put into words how much your life changes once you learn this material, because it's the kind of thing that like once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. And my mom and I have these kinds of conversations all the time, and it's actually like I'm really really grateful that we took it together, because it's nice to be able to talk about this stuff and just like we know exactly what's like we're talking about, and we're able to like help each other. We're able to kind of like um call each other out when one of our limiting beliefs is blocking us, because you don't see your own limiting beliefs, like somebody else kind of has to pull them out of you. But it really just shifts the way you think about things forever. Like you can't unsee it or unhear it once you've learned it, and that's a good thing because it's going to change your life for the better.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, I love that you are having such success and yeah, just living this vibrant life as you. I think that's one of the most important is to live in authenticity and live in purpose and enjoy and in abundance. So I love that you
Yes.
had such great results from the program. And I appreciate so much your time and sharing a bit of your story.
Oh my gosh, of course. Thank you so much for asking me.
Yeah, with pleasure. Thanks for now.